but I've never felt the need to, because like I said, I felt proud of myself every single day, so I just didn't feel the need to put on a Speedo and put a flag. I'm proud every day.
Sean, do people come up to you on the street, and I mean, because of the show and Husbands, I mean, have you had people ask you if you were gay because of this? I mean, people who don't know, or do you think people just assume that you're gay because you're playing?
I'm a 6'4", 200-pound man. They're not going to ask me a question like that. It's
I didn't think you were gay the first couple episodes. I was, because you were like pretty sporty and stuff.
Yeah,
so I didn't think you. My initial thought of you wasn't you were gay.
I played that. I mean, I was in high school. I was that typical senior homecoming court, football captain, all that crap, and I was trying so. But that's because I was so ashamed of who I was. I was trying so hard to fit in, and so I come from that kind of stuff, and I can do that. But that's, as a community, I constantly forget that. I came out once, 11 years ago. But that was the big time. But I mean, every day you're kind of coming out again and again with each.
We're sort of always coming out, aren't we?
You really are, and we're constantly faced with. I mean, every time you do that, you're faced with the rejection. So it is all about finding that safe place within yourself to continue to move forward and do that. And so if somebody came up, nobody has come up to me on the street, but I mean, if they do, it's like, yeah, it's fine. It's no big deal now for me, and that's what I would hope for the rest of the world, that one day it's just no big deal.
Do you find, this is sort of interesting because you're playing a character in the show. Do you find that people just assume that you're gay because you're playing this gay character, or do you find that people just think you're gay because you...
I understand what you're saying. They haven't come up to me and said that. However, most of the world, if you do some sort of gay content, they actually automatically go to that place of assuming that you're gay.
And I don't know that. And this is actually really interesting.
Which is unfortunate.
Not to diverge too much, but I know it's been an issue for Nicole Pacent, one of the actresses. How do you say it? Pacent, Nicole Pacent. How many people here have actually seen Anyone But Me? Can I get a shout out? Like, if you've seen Anyone But Me, raise it high. That's it. You people have some research to do.
And that's the beauty of the web, though. People discover it. It's still on, and it will be on forever. Mm-hmm. So that's very hopeful that all of you will be raising your hand next time you're asked that question.
Yeah. Well, I know it's one of the issues because I'm very close with Anyone But Me. I know one of the actresses on there who identifies, I believe, as bisexual. Or maybe not, I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't really want to talk about it.
Okay, sorry. All right, well...
Are you outing her? What are you doing there?
But I just... Okay. You want to...
Well, no. I mean, I don't know your point, but I mean, I don't think it's fair to talk about the actors and what their sexuality is if they're not here.
Q&A.
Well, that's...
Q&A.
I think that's probably fair. Okay. But what I've just seen in print with her is that she's always identified as a lesbian. I think that's what I'm trying to make when she's not. That's not a part of who she is. Maybe it's part of it, I don't know. But anyway, moving on. Awkward party of one. Okay. I hope none of you know the actress I was talking about. Okay. So moving on, this is actually the next part. Moving into traditional Hollywood. If your show was picked up by network TV, do you think you would have to alter any of your content to make it fit within the parameters of said network? Yes or no? If yes, would you do it? How much creative freedom would you give up to reach a larger audience? If you think you wouldn't have to alter your content at all, I know.
Do you want to say? Should we just do the Q&A? We have like 15 minutes left.
Okay. No. Well, we'll answer this quickly, and then we'll go to the Q&A. Okay. So we'll just go that. What do you think?
I will speak to this really quick for Husbands, the series. I am not the creator, but I've been around them enough to know what we tried to sell the first season, and the first people to pass were Logo because they're trying to do more mainstream material, and which is perfectly fine because we wanted to go to bigger networks, bigger cable. We wanted to reach a wider audience. One of our director was Jeff Greenstein. He worked on Will and Grace, Friends, and Desperate Housewives, and he wanted this show to be like a next generation Will and Grace. However, the feedback that we got across the board was that it was still too gay. And for example, there's a scene where two of us were kissing on the bed, and that's too much for network TV. Cut to 2 weeks later, episode of Smash. There's two guys in bed together, and so it's like things are changing very quickly. And our second season, which will be airing August 15th, is we sex it up. I mean, really sex it. And we can do that because we're on the web. We can do that and really push the boundaries. Web is great for experimenting and breaking limits.
I wouldn't trade it. Okay, I wouldn't trade it for network television. I've worked on it. It's not just about we couldn't show two women kissing, although we have a double thing against us, which is not only are a couple of characters gay, but they're women. They're young women, and not that many shows feature women. So we got women who are gay, who are women. The point being that the freedom of the web, the freedom to tell the stories, it isn't just about the gay issue, it's about not wanting the committees, not wanting the whole level of or layers of people who get to say yes or no to what you're doing and give you notes. This way we get to do what we want, and if it's good, and if the quality is good, you'll come and see it, and you'll watch it, and we'll get an audience. And
I definitely on my show turn on and off my gay based on my mood and my delivery of the day. So some days I might be really, really gay and that's like my oh my god voice. And then there's other days where I'm really like kind of just really in a deeper voice and really kind of subtle and different. So it's almost like it's my choice though how I want to tone up, tone down. When I have done TV things or talked to people, I have been asked, can you tone it down? And so the answer to that question is yes, and it's not like I don't want to be myself. It's more like what is suited for the role. So if I'm like doing but no one's ever said to me like on the spot if I was doing something, can you turn it down? But I just kind of know internally, intuitively what I'm being hired to do and who the audience is, how I'm supposed to act when I'm filling that role. And I'm always playing myself, but I'm always playing an extreme version of myself, so I never mind. So it's my own decision to do that. You know, no one's ever said take it down a notch, Buck, or gay it up a notch, Buck. It's always been my decision to do that. Does that make any sense?
Yeah. I mean, I'll address it briefly. Yeah, when My Drug Kitchen first came out, before I even knew what YouTube was, when I was at VidCon and, was new, a lot of traditional networks wanted to buy it. And I said no. I'm just like, it's mine. Like, I make it for myself in my kitchen. I get drunk. I mean, the second you get in these meetings, they're like, we're going to change this and this and this, and you can't actually get drunk, and we're going to do blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I would rather go on this little journey. This is nice. So. Gay.
Okay, we're going to open up to questions now. So, how does this work? So, I guess we don't have any mics out there, right? I think that's a little too complicated. Okay. Yeah, we will repeat the questions up here from microphones. So, yes, right here.
I have a complicated question. I'm trying to form it in my head. But I'm from Alabama, and I'm a big rainbow fish in that little pond. And I'm very used to emphasizing that I'm gay just because people in Alabama don't get it unless you tell them multiple times. But
it's just a phase.
Do you think that the web has space for people who do want to emphasize their queerness? Because it seems like, I mean, there are definitely two camps of like radical and assimilationists who, want their gayness to be like Blue Eyes, but I'm not marching in a blue-eyed pride parade anytime soon. I would rather be on the top of the Butch float. But do you think that the web has places for people who do want their gayness and their LGBTQIIA-ness to be incredibly important and a part of who they are?
Interesting. Are there? I mean, maybe the both of you. This is a good question. I mean, who is there? Is there a preeminent sort of?
We were talking about. What were we talking about earlier? Were you going to ask other gay YouTubers kind of thing?
Yeah, whose content is focused on being gay.
You know what? I've only encountered. There's a website. Do you guys know Autostraddle? Anybody here know Autostraddle? So there's absolutely places on the web, where people can be like gay, and there's infinite room on YouTube to do whatever you want. I don't know of any like gay like YouTube content.
Isn't it Davey Wavy? Isn't Davey Wavy?
Yeah,
We're YouTube.
That's a good. It's a good. I mean, how many people here have heard of Davey Wavy? Oh, you have. Okay, good. I actually invited him to be on. I actually invited him to be on this panel. But he was down in San Diego and
he was exercising.
I think
he's shirtless all the time in his video.
Yeah.
He actually adorable.
He flew back to Connecticut.
I never listened to what he has to say. I just want to watch the video.
Or Vermont.
Anyone B is a YouTube partner. We were just made in March. There's a special spotlighted partner of the month and put on their homepage for a day. And clearly, the picture is of the two gals together, and we have our biggest viewership from YouTube. So, no, I agree with Hannah. It's just the web is a place for everybody.
Which one?
Well, our show's like Glee, and I mean, as far as like mainstream, we're Glee. We're not like Queer as Folk. There's another web series called The Outs. I think they're more like a queer. They're like the gay version of Girls on HBO. So they do more like nitty, like what it's really like to be gay. You know, New York boy. I'm gonna stop.
But yes, there's an audience for this. That's the answer to your question. So please do it. Be yourself. Please be that person. Please.
Totally, I agree.
I love all you guys. This is a quick comment to Hannah, because I've always been bi, and I've known I was bi, but naturally I've kind of just like, if I were with a guy out there and if I'm with a girl, I'd keep it to myself. But all my friends who don't watch YouTube, who aren't too like out there, they see you, and I tell them like, well, you know, she's gay, and they don't believe me. And then when they finally do, it's made it easier for me to kind of be like, you know I don't, you see me with guys, but I can be with girls too. And I'm not fully out yet, but I'm able to get there more.
And I think you just made a big step forward in that regard by mentioning that right now.
What's your Twitter?
It's only one part of who you are. It's not everything completely. Yeah.
It's funny because I had no gay role models growing up at all. So it was I remember thinking that growing up, like I did not have a picture of a male and a male together, and the only gay person I saw was on like Phil Donahue, and they were suicidal or they were drag queens, and it was a terrible thing to be gay. These were the only images I had in my head. But right now I feel like I have so many, and there's so many people who are doing so well, and I just want Tyler Oakley is one of my role models. Tyler is such a great example of somebody who uses his voice, and he's a great role model for all young gay people. So Tyler, definitely.
Anyone else want to address that question?
My shout out to my co-star Cheeks. Go Cheeks Go. He has a lot of videos on YouTube, and he's led the way on many ideas about this.
I have to say for myself, I'm a huge fan of the old what's his Twitter handle? The real NPH or Neil Patrick Harris. I just feel the way he's, sort of seamlessly, owned his sexuality, yet not let it completely define him in the roles that he's taking on. And, he's really, I think just, been a real pioneer in settling down with his partner and adopting the 2 twins who are just adorable. Anyway, so that's for me personally, but Susan, is there anyone you want to?
That's
sorry, Hannah. Yeah.
Go, she has that.
Hannah?
Yeah.
Inspires me. Right now, in this moment, in this room. No, but one thing that does...
Was that a joke?
No.
Lesbian fight! Get out your foot cams! Monetize this shit. Get a thumbnail of their boobs. Sorry. 4 boobs, 1 conference table. 3 boobs. 3 boobs, 1 conference.
There's family, and then there's family.
I don't really have any gay role models, but I really like... Do you guys know After Ellen, the website? There's a writer named Heather Hogan on there who I adore. And she is great, and she has like a similar kind of approach to sexuality as I do. Her writing's fantastic. I just wanted to tell everybody that she's great.
Great.
One great thing, if this group of people were in any room, in any panel, one could not make any assumptions about you whatsoever.
Yeah, just a bunch of cute kids.
That's it. That's it. That's how I want it to be. Not assumptions about your faith, your belief in things, your politics, your sexuality, whether you like drama or whether you like comedy. We don't know that just by looking at you. All right? And I'm just thrilled about that.
Sorry, I'm kind of forced, but but I know you guys kind of touched on this about not really defining yourself as LGBT and making that kind of like your whole persona. And I don't know, like, because I'm out like on the internet, like on my blog, but really not on YouTube so much.
and I don't really want to be known as the dyke from Brooklyn. And so
There's so
The
many
dyke
of
in
them.
New York. Be broader. Don't limit yourself to the dyke in Brooklyn.
but like, I don't know, how would you guys suggest to like just keep the personality be about you and not your sexuality?
Just keep the personality about you and not your sexuality.
Okay.
Like, you just, make the content you want to make, and, if people ask, like, oh, are you seeing somebody or something like that, then you're like, oh, no, I'm single, like, or I have a girlfriend or, boyfriend or whatever, like, you just don't have to, just because you're not being gay doesn't make you not proud. Like, I love being gay. I love it, but you can just be, man. I'm such a fucking hippie. Just be.
Well, honestly, I feel like we can take a cue from how the celebrities are coming out now. Like Jim Parsons, it's just something it's well known he's been with his partner for over 10 years, but in this particular way that he came out a few months ago, it was the end of an interview. It was just something he slipped in right at the end, and it just was like an afterthought of him. Just slips it in. That's what he said.
I'm delirious. It's been a long day. I got 3 boobs. I got the lesbian outing. This is the best panel ever.
I just want to chime in here real quickly and say, coming out is a process, and I know there's a lot of young people in this room who are struggling with all of these issues, and it's not like, at least in my experience, it's not one thing you think, okay, there's this date, I'm telling this circle of people, and now everybody knows. It's like, no, it's like you're always meeting new people. There are 7 billion people on the planet. You're always constantly informing others of who you are and what your value system is and what you're about. And so it's always going to be a process. So, you don't have to define yourself as being the dyke from Brooklyn. It's as much as you want to share or don't share, and it continues. But it never goes away because it's a part of who you are, and you're constantly, you'll find throughout the rest of your life as you grow into yourself that it's just going to keep getting better and easier, and then at some point it'll just sort of be this thing that's like, oh yeah, by the way, because it doesn't have to be at the forefront of how we define ourselves. So that's my
I always tell the kids, you'll come out when you're ready. I'm not one of those people who's like, come out. If you're not ready, you'll know. So you'll know.
My question is kind of for Hannah and Susan. I have a large group of male friends, and I went through college with them, and when I eventually came out and I told them that I'm bisexual, the questions I kept receiving was, so how does it work?
Are you asking me how it works?
No, I'm asking you how you deal with that question.
I love sex. So I talk about it. I don't know. People are like, how do 2 girls do it? And I'm like, well. And how do I deal with it? Like, am I offended by it? No, everybody's curious. Like, whatever. Like, people, but here's the thing. It's like, people talk about sex all the time, gay or straight or whatever. So it's like, if you're sitting around with your friends and you want to be discussing, oh my God, last night was crazy, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't ever take it personally or think of it as like a quote unquote gay issue kind of question. I think it's just people being kinky little bastards.
So my big lesson in life was that I honestly, I love what you shared, but I can't sit around and hope for them to change, because they're probably not, because the way that my mother thinks with her faith, that if you take that one piece out, that gays are not sinful, the whole thing falls apart.